Lamar Anthony Peters, born June 19, 1998. The first time many people saw Lamar Peters again, it wasn't in an NBA jersey. It was on YouTube, scoring at will, running known one-on-one players off the court, and making high-level competition look helpless. It makes you wonder how a 4-star recruit, an all-SEC guard with 27 28-point explosions in college and deep-range confidence, never found a place in the league he clearly has the skill for. But Lamar's path was shaped less by what he could do with the ball and more by the kind of role the next level never had waiting for him. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know who I should do next. Lamar Peters is a 6-foot point guard from New Orleans, Louisiana, who built his reputation on toughness, deep shooting range, and the kind of confidence that made him a high-level recruit. Rated a 4-star prospect, ranked number 101 nationally by 247, the 22nd point guard in his class, and number 4 in the state of Louisiana, he committed to Mississippi State with the expectation of becoming the engine in their backcourt. As a freshman, he immediately showed flashes of that scoring ability, averaging just over 10 points per game while adjusting to the speed and physicality of the SEC. But that season was also marked by real-life tragedy, as Peters lost his father to a fatal shooting during the year, something that understandably impacted his consistency and overall play. His sophomore season reflected that turbulence. His scoring dipped, his three-point percentage fell under 30%, and the efficiency that small guards need to separate themselves never fully stabilized. By his junior year, the production returned in stretches. Peters had explosive performances, including a late-season run that earned him SEC Co-Player of the Week honors, after averaging 27.5 points and knocking down 8 threes per game in wins over Clemson and McNeese State. Those moments reminded everyone how dangerous he could be with the ball in his hands. But the full body of work across 3 seasons, streaky shooting, sub 40% from the field, and an undersized scoring guard profile, left questions about how his game would translate to the next level. Still, after that junior season, Peters declared for the NBA draft, betting on his shot making and playmaking to carry him forward into the professional game. Stunt number 1, leaving too soon. The good old decision of when to leave for the NBA can make or break your chances. Peters' decision to enter the draft after his junior season removed the 1 year that could have completely changed how NBA teams evaluated him. Through 3 seasons at Mississippi State, the talent and shot making were obvious. He had games where he looked like the best guard on the floor, pulling up from deep, playing with pace, and scoring in bunches when he got comfortable. But the full body of work never matched the flashes. He never shot 40% from the field in a season, his three-point percentage was inconsistent, and he was still viewed as a high-usage rhythm scorer instead of a steady lead guard who controlled the game possession by possession. For a 6-foot guard, that distinction is everything. At that size, you're not being projected, you're being slotted into a role. Teams want to see efficiency, decision-making, and the ability to run an offense while keeping turnovers down and teammates involved. Another year in school would have given him the chance to reshape that identity. The path was clear. Come back as the unquestioned veteran, average 16 to 18 points per game on better shot selection, keep his three-point percentage in the high 30s, and raise his assist numbers. That version of Lamar Peters becomes an experienced, productive senior point guard with a defined NBA skill. Instead, he entered the draft as an undersized scoring guard with streaky efficiency and no clear archetype to attach to his name. Once he went undrafted, the development curve changed completely. Rather than returning to a system built around him, he moved into the Exhibit 10 and G League cycle, where opportunities are short and roles are limited. There's no time to grow through mistakes in that environment. You're expected to produce immediately and in a very specific way. That early decision didn't just cost him draft position, it cost him the chance to present a finished version of his game, and for a player whose margin for error was already small, that timing made all the difference. Stunt number 2, the role never matched the talent. By the time Peters reached a professional level, the conversation was no longer about how skilled he was, it was about what he was, and that's where the disconnect started. In college and now in open floor settings, his strengths are built around rhythm, shot creation, and the freedom to play with the ball in his hands. He's at his best when he can size defenders up, change pace, pull from deep, and score in bursts. But the NBA does not hand out that kind of freedom to 6-foot guards unless they are elite decision makers, elite shooters, or elite playmakers, and Peters wasn't. Or at the least, that's not what he showed he could be at the right time. At that level, every player is being evaluated through lens of what role can you play for my team. Big guards can survive as scorers because they bring positional size. Traditional point guards survive by running a team and defending. Off-ball guards survive by shooting at a high percentage on limited touches, and Peters didn't clearly fit into any of those lanes. He wasn't a pure floor general, he wasn't an off-ball specialist, and his efficiency never reached a level where a team could justify building offense around him in short G League or training camp windows. That's why his current success in one-on-one and open run environments looks so different from his NBA opportunities. In those settings, the game is built for players like him. There's space, there's no help defense loading up, there's no scouting report taking away your first option, and there's no requirement to play within a narrow role. His handle, range, and confidence can fully breathe, not to mention the experience he now has. The same traits that make him look unstoppable there are the ones that needed to be scaled and reshaped for 5-on-5 roster basketball. So, the story isn't that he wasn't good enough, it's that the version of basketball where his skill set is most valuable is not the version that decides NBA jobs, and without a clearly defined role that teams could plug into their system, his talent never had a stable place to land. Stunt number 3, the window closed while the talent kept growing. Once Peters went undrafted and his time with the Knicks organization ended, the path that usually develops players like him into NBA-ready guards was gone. There was no longer a system built around his growth, no guaranteed minutes to play through mistakes, and no offseason where a franchise was tracking his progress year to year. From that point on, every opportunity became temporary, short training camp deals, quick G League evaluations, overseas stops where production has to be immediate or the roster changes. That's a completely different environment from college, where development and patience still exists. For a guard whose game depends on rhythm and confidence, that kind of instability matters. Instead of building on one season and carrying that momentum into the next, he was constantly starting over. New country, new teammates, new role, and new expectations. There's no time in those situations to expand your game or redefine how teams see you. You're not being developed, you're being judged. And for players without size or a pre-assigned NBA role, continuity is usually the thing that allows their skill to catch up to the league's demands. While that structure was disappearing, his individual ability kept evolving. The shot making got deeper, the handle tighter, the scoring more creative, which is why in open runs and one-on-one settings, he looks like a completely realized version of the player people once projected him to be. But by then, the timeline had shifted. The NBA had already moved on to the next draft class and the next development cycle. That's the part that makes his current run so striking. You're watching a player who clearly kept working, clearly kept improving, and clearly reached a high level, just not in the ecosystem that rewards that kind of late growth. The league prioritizes youth, long-term investment, and players who can develop in-house. Once you fall outside of that track, it becomes almost impossible to re-enter it, no matter how skilled you become. So while his game kept climbing, the structure that could turn that growth into an NBA opportunity was no longer there. All in all, Lamar Peters' journey is one where the growth never stopped even after the traditional path did. His final structured opportunities came and went, and after 2023, the record of steady team situation gets quiet. No long-term overseas run, and no consistent roster to track from season to season. Yet, at the very same time, his game kept evolving. The scoring got more polished, the range extended, and the confidence never left, which is why he now reappears in a completely different setting. Open runs, one-on-one matchups, and viral performances where his skill is impossible to ignore. That contrast tells the real story. The league moved on while his improvement happened outside of that system. Without a franchise invested in his timeline or a defined role waiting for him, there was no clear way back into the structure that turns ability into opportunity. So, what you're seeing today isn't a player who suddenly became good. It's a high-level guard who kept getting better, just beyond the window where the NBA was still watching his progress. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunning. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.